Check test. Check test. Check test 1, 2. Hine matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol, hinei matol, la 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 la. Hinei matol, hinei matol, la 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 la. Hinei matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matol manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hello. Thank you for one of you who said Shabbat Shalom back to me. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is so nice to be with you on this wonderful Shabbat morning for us to celebrate Shabbat, to celebrate Sukkot together, which is so lovely. So Chag Sameach to you also. And also, Camila, we're going to be celebrating Camila becoming bat mitzvah. So a couple of things. If you don't have a prayer book, you should get one because it's going to help the service, so you'll know where we are. So they are thin and they are blue, and they are not in this room, I don't think. They are just outside. So you just have to go back outside and get, they say Mishkan Tefillah on them. They are small blue books. If you have a large book that is light-colored blue, then it's the wrong one. You want a dark blue. It says Mishkan Tefillah on it, and those are the books that you will want that will help you follow along in our service. Those of you who are joining us on our live stream, hello to everyone in the live stream world. We are thrilled that you are joining us as well. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach to you. You can also follow along with our service if you'd like, with a virtual prayer book if you'd like. So all you have to do is go to CBIBoca.org, CBIBoca.org. I'll give you a second to get there if you're following along with some kind of a device, a phone or a tablet of some kind. So CBIBoca.org. On the top left corner, there is a menu button. Hit menu. And then once you hit menu, there'll be another button that says services. Hit services, scroll down a little bit, and then you'll see a picture of our cantor, and next to the picture of our cantor, you will see a link that allows you to go to our prayer book. And make sure you hit the one that says Shabbat on it, and then you can follow along with us with our service throughout the whole morning. Our service this morning should be between 3.5 to 4.5 hours. So we are thrilled that you had a snack this morning to be with us. It's funny how when I said Shabbat Shalom, no one said anything. But then I said service is going to be 4 hours, and now everyone's like, what? Wait a second. That's not okay. So there is, here is a full shot. Look, say hello to Camila. Those of you who are joining us on the live stream, there she is. There's our cantor Machnik on the left. I'm Rabbi Keller, if you do not know who I am. And we are going to be part of this beautiful service this morning. Please chant along and pray along and read along. Our prayer books have English and Hebrew and transliteration. That is the Hebrew with English letters, so that everyone can be fully part of every part of our service on this fine Shabbat morning and this fine Chag morning, this holiday morning of Sukkot. We are so excited. So now that we're here, the first thing we're going to really do is, by the way, the other thing in the book, there are 2 sets of numbers on the bottom right corner of the book. There are like dark numbers, and then there's a bracket with numbers in it. We're going to be using the bracket numbers. So those of you who are following along, there's a bracket. We're going to be following along on the bracket numbers this morning. So we're going to continue now with this big moment, the moment where Bat Mitzvah gets to put on her talit for the first time. And so we are going to continue with our talit ceremony, which is on page 190 in the brackets in your book. 190 in the brackets. In your book, you'll see what I mean if you open up the book. You'll see it's page 72 in the regular print, but next to it there is a bracket number, and the bracket number says 190, and we'll be following along in the bracket numbers this morning, if that makes sense, because that's the same book that our Bat Mitzvah has, and we want to be on the same page as she is since she's the Bat Mitzvah. 190. So. Parents coming up to present you with talit.
On this Shabbat, we rejoice in your coming of age in our tradition as a symbol of your entrance as a responsible member into the adult Jewish community. It is our honor to present you with this talit.
Our tradition teaches us to put tzitzit, fringes, on the corners of our garments in every generation as a reminder to observe all of God's commandments. Now, as Bat Mitzvah, a child of the commandments, you are ready to make moral choices, to grow emotionally and intellectually, and to take responsibility for the mitzvot and your decisions. Be holy unto your God, bring blessing to our world, and may you bring the household of Israel the same pride and joy, nachas, that you bring us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו בנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Okay, everyone can sit down except for the bat mitzvah, because she doesn't get to sit down at all for the rest of the service. You know, because it's all about you, and and God and Torah and Sukkot and Shabbat also. We are going to continue now with Matovu on the bracket pages. Don't forget looking at the bracket pages, page 192.
מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, ואני ברוך חסדך אהבו ביתך, אשתחווה אליך קודשך ביראתך, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, משכנותיך ישראל.
Continue now with Chatzi Kaddish, which is on page 224. Again, look for the brackets, 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בהולמה דברך ירצה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי הבמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו Amen.
Continue with the Baruch Hu, page 226, and together we stand.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or v'choshech, oseh shalom uvoreh et hakol. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer hamorot. We continue now with Shema, which is 232, 233.
Shema
Please be seated. We continue now, next page, 234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווה היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך לצלצל תותפות פניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים אלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים ועשיתם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Adonai Elohechem emet. We continue with our song of redemption, Michamocha, page 240.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. שיר חדשה, שבחו גאונים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צאו ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופתחנו מכה, יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Continue now with the Amidah on page 242, and together we stand.
Adonai sefata tifta ufi agiteilateha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezoher Asdev Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geulah livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo ve'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayeh kol ha'tara le'Hoshia. Morid hatal, Mehakel ha'im behesed, Mehayeh hakol be'rav ha'mimadim. Somet noflim be'rafeh holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Yishenei afar, Mikama ha'bagevura, Umito melech, Melech memit, Umekayem, Umatmiah Yeshua, B'nei atala yodako. Merchata Adonai, nehayehako.
Continue with the Kedusha now, page 248.
נקדש שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, הכתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו, אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד God לך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently now, starting on page 248 and going through page 260. Whenever you're finished, please be seated.
Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen, amen. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
So typically right now we would continue with the Torah service, but we are going to do a little quick insertion because it is Sukkot, and typically on Sukkot we engage in something called Hallel. There's a short Hallel and a long Hallel. We are going to only do short Hallel, so but it is fun and festive, and it is a section of Psalms to celebrate Sukkot. So we're going to do an unexpected turn in our prayer books, and we're going to go to page, it's in the black print if you want to go a little easier on yourselves rather than major page turning. In the small books that you guys have in the congregation, it's 266. Camila, if you want to follow along, it's on 558 in your book. So,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hallel. Hallelu et Adonai kol goyim shavchuhu kol haomim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai le'olam hallelujah hodu l'Adonai ki tov ki le'olam chasto yomana Yisrael ki le'olam chasto yomruna v'taharon ki le'olam chasto yomruna yirei Adonai ki le'olam כי לעולם חסדו.
Right? That was pretty. Right? That was festive. I'm getting people who are nodding. It's good. All right. All your work. What's that? It was good. It was good. It was lovely. That was very pretty. All your works shall praise you, Adonai, our God, all your faithful ones, the righteous who do your will, and all your people, the house of Israel. Thank you in joyous song, and bless, praise, glorify, exalt, extol, sanctify, and proclaim the sovereignty of your name, for it is good to give you, Adonai, thanks, and to sing praises to your name, because throughout all time to eternity you are God, you praised you, Adonai, sovereign, praised and sung Baruch Ata Adonai, Melech Mehulal Batishpachot. That was the detour. That was it. It wasn't too bad. And we got to do a little bit of Hallel because it is, after all, the Shabbat in the middle of Sukkot. Now we turn back to our Torah service. So we're back to the brackets, everyone. Everyone's back in the brackets, the blue brackets. We're going to page 362 for our Torah service.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום.
Please stand.
הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון, תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא, אדון עולמי.
364.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדול אדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
Please be seated. If we were not amidst a pandemic, we would have the Ark doors open and we would have our Torah. We'd walk around with all of you and have you all touch the Torah. But in our COVID world, we already have the Torah unrolled for our bat mitzvah, and so we are sadly not doing our hakafah. If you are craving hakafot though and craving some dancing with Torah in a socially distant way, then join us Monday at night, because we'll be celebrating Simchat Torah, and we'll be finding a way to celebrate Torah that way, with a little distance. So Camila's going to be chanting some Torah for us. She'll be chanting from a special section of Torah, not in the regular chronology of how the Torah flows, because it is indeed Sukkot. So she'll be reading the special reading from Chol HaMoed, the middle days of Sukkot. She'll be chanting that section. She has been preparing a lot, and so she is going to be reading two sections of this Torah, two of the Torah reading, two aliyot. The word aliyah means to ascend. So she will not just really kind of step up to the Torah, but have the honor of doing each of these Torah readings. And the Torah itself has no markings for any grammar whatsoever. There's no punctuation in there. There are no commas. There are no periods. There are not even any markings for trope. So for the tune, nothing is marked in the Torah scroll itself, but she has been studying, and she is prepared, and she is going to be chanting it just like she has been, just like there is grammar and structure and all of that beautiful tune. Isn't that right, Camila? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Mm-hmm. Out of that. We'll also be inviting people to join us to do the blessings before and after each section that she'll be reading. So you can follow along, by the way, with those blessings if you'd like. They're on page 368 in your prayer book if you'd like to follow along. And now we are going to call the first aliyah, and I think those are your parents. Is that correct? So it is a pleasure to call up for the honor of the Torah, Ya'amdu Yonatan ben Michael veKeren bat Sarah la'aliyah Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baracha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayomer Moshe el Adonai Re'eh Ata Omer Elai Ha'al et Ha'am Hazeh Ve'ata lo hodatani et asher tishla imi Ve'ata amarta yiratiha v'shem V'gam matzatahem be'enai Ve'ata inna matzati hem be'enai Hodieni na et deraheha ve'edaha leman emsahem be'neha or'ei kiyam ha hagoy hazeh vayomar panai lehu v'hani hotila.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tzochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai barach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayomer elav im ein paneha hohi al ta'aleinu Yada Efo Kimatsati Hem Be'eneha Ani Ve'ameha Halo Belechteha Imanu Veniflinu Ani Ve'amha Mikol Ha'am Asher Al Pnei Ha'adamah Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Gam Et Hadavar Hazeh Asher Dibarta Eseh Ki Matzata Hein Be'enai Ve'daha B'Shem Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Hayei Olam Nata B'Torheinu Baruch Atah Adonai Notei Torah.
I didn't hear you say amen. Why would you mess up the second time? If you messed up the first time, you had a big moment there to get the amen right, and you just blew it. And then she only did 2 aliyot, so now you know what? You have to, the whole day you have to think to yourself, I missed that amen. There was a chance for me to amen, and I didn't amen, and what do I do because I didn't amen? It's a lot. It's a lot to carry on your shoulders, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be all right. So along with the chanting of the special section of Torah, there's also a special section for the Haftarah. The Haftarah is always accompanied by the Torah. So the Torah obviously comes from the 5 books of Moses. The Haftarah comes from the book of prophets. 99.999% of all Haftarot come from the book of prophets. And this is one of those types. It's a very interesting Haftarah. It comes from the book of Ezekiel, and he's a prophet. And it's interesting, usually a Haftarah matches the theme of the Torah really, really nicely. So the theme of the Torah talked about had connections to the harvest, and it makes sense because that's what Sukkot is. It's a harvest holiday. And so one would think it'd be this kind of joyous Haftarah. It's actually not. The Haftarah is actually kind of a very negative Haftarah, and the rabbis say that while ordinarily the theme is expressed, this is sort of the opposite because we're supposed to be grateful. It's supposed to remind us to be grateful for the things that we have. It's kind of a flip. Because Ezekiel in general is an angry dude. He's an angry prophet. So he's a little angry in here, but it's still the one that connects. And here's the best part. No pressure, Camila, but her chanting Haftarah is amazing. Just listen to this voice chant some Haftarah for us. It's going to be pretty fabulous. If you want to follow along, by the way, with the blessings, they can be found on page 372 for you in your prayer books. If you want to follow along with these beautiful blessings and the chanting she's about to continue with right now.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek v'haya bayom hahu beyom bogo al admat Yisrael negum Adonai Elohim ta'ale hamatim be'api uvkinati ve'shevrati dibarti imlo bayam hahu Yeh Rash Gadol Al Adma Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Tzur kol haolamim Tzadik bechol hadarot Ha'el hane'eman Ha'omer ve'oseh Hamdaber umkayem Shekol devarav emet v'tzedek Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnuha lechavod u'tifaret Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim la Umbarhim ota Yitbarach Shimha Befit kol hai Tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mechadesh HaShabbat
Amen.
Simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulachol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulachol Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Ha'evekayam, David Melech Yisrael, Ha'evekayam. Simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, Yehelanu. Simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simen tov, Yehelanu.
Woo, Mazel tov. Woo. And you redeemed yourselves with the clapping. That was fabulous. Everyone won on that one. That was great. What you're about to hear is going to be fabulous. You're going to hear some wonderful, incredible words of Torah from our bat mitzvah, explaining to you her very cool and interesting special Torah portion for Sukkot. When she's done, you're going to think, wow, that was amazing. And you're going to want to clap. But we don't clap because it isn't a show. So in lieu of clapping when she's done, please give her a big hand when she is done. So she is going to share with you some beautiful words of Torah. She's going to speak very slowly. She's going to enunciate very clearly. And she's going to speak really close to the microphone so everyone can hear her. And now we're going to hear some beautiful words of Torah from our bat mitzvah.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here to celebrate with me, in spite of all that's happening around us. I really appreciate it. How lucky am I that the service for me becoming a bat mitzvah falls in Sukkot. Sukkot is the most joyful holiday in the Jewish calendar, and that's exactly how I feel right now, full of joy. Sukkot is the holiday of harvest celebration and appreciation of rain. On this day, we make huts outside called sukkahs and decorate them with fruits and veggies. We also invite friends into our sukkah to celebrate with us. If you're here today, it's because you are very special to me, and you are all welcomed into my sukkah. Another very important element of Sukkot is the lulav and etrog, which are made of 4 parts. Each of the parts in the lulav has a lesson we can learn. The palm, or the spine, reminds us to stand tall for what we believe in. The myrtle represents the eyes. It reminds us that each of us has the ability to see things from a different perspective, and that has to be respected by everyone. The willow represents the mouth. This reminds us to speak with care and be mindful of our words. The etrog symbolizes the heart. How are we handling our hearts? Are we too easy and vulnerable, or are we too harsh? Sukkot, in all of its symbolism, teaches me that the way we position ourselves has an impact, and we have to be mindful of that. So, be kind with your words, accept people's differences, and never forget who you are and what you stand for. Today, standing here and doing what my ancestors have once done makes me realize that life is a cycle, and the examples we all set will influence the next generations. So, for my bat mitzvah project, I wanted to set an example and do something that would be relevant. Us as a society are going through some of the hardest times in history, and I wanted to make a difference. I would like you to put your hands up if me or my mom have had an influence on your COVID vaccination or have booked your appointments altogether. We, with the help of my brother, had scheduled over 700 vaccine appointments, and we're still working on it. It gave me a great feeling of accomplishment, and I want to always be involved in a cause that gives me this fulfillment. This project has definitely made a difference in my life. Without further ado, I'd first like to thank my mom and dad, who have always tried to do their best to push me for what I thought I couldn't do. My brother Danilo, who has helped me reassure myself and make me feel confident in myself. My grandparents, who has always cared about the things that I love doing. My two best friends, who have made me laugh, cry, and question why I'm friends with them multiple times. I love you, Phoebe and Sabrina. And every single person here today for helping to shape the confident and self-assured person I am today. Thank you for helping me celebrate Sukkot in the most memorable way. Shabbat Shalom.
That was so good. That was so good. It was so nice. The cadence was so nice. Weren't you drawn into every word she was saying? Oh, we're keeping you. It's it. It's a done deal. You, Danilo, the whole crew. That's it. That's it. We're keeping you here forever. You're so good. You're so good. We are going to continue with concluding our Torah service this morning. That is at the bottom of page. It's on the whole page of 374. That's in the brackets again. We're back in the brackets. 374. And together we stand.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki niskav shemo levado hodo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasida Israel am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Eitz chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomcheha מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נטיותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך בנשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. And once again, I would like to thank all of you for being here today to celebrate Camila, my baby girl. How can it be 13 years already? How can it be 13 years already since I had you in my arms for the first time? I can still remember every detail of that day, and I often replay it in my mind, wishing I can feel those amazing emotions again. You and your brother woke up a love inside of me so strong, so unbreakable, so unconditional. I thank God every day for the amazing privilege of being your mom. Today, you start a new cycle in your life, a stage when more freedom and more responsibility are put in your hands. We are aware of how you listen to us and follow our advice, how you have been adjusting to what's good and healthy for your life, and we are very, very proud of you for that. I know you will handle adulthood very well. You have developed into this amazing young woman, very smart, very caring, very beautiful, so independent and so well-liked. You shine in everything you do. So remember to always be a leader, and whenever you need to follow someone's actions, make sure these actions don't push you away from who you are and where you came from. Honor your roots. Lily, your family wants you to every day combine your inspiration with determination and some discipline. We want you to always remember the value of family and to always stand up for what you believe. Remember that you always will have your family to support you. I know that sometimes it feels like I'm a little hard on you. I know that sometimes the expectations we set seem too high. But let me reassure you that we know you are capable of amazing things. We set these high expectations because we want your greatest dreams to come true. We want life to treat you well because you deserve the best life has to offer. One day, you will be someone's ancestors, and this is a great responsibility, but I know that you are setting up great steps for them to follow. We cannot wait to see the life story you're just about to start writing. Você é o amor da mamãe. Te amo, mamãe. Te amo.
She has no idea what I'm going to say. You guys know me about my predictability. You know. "Don't touch me," protested the 2-year-old blonde with curls, wearing a dress with orange powder covering her mouth and hands, having snuck under the bed where she snarfed a bag of Cheetos that she was told she couldn't have. That's the decisiveness of her mother, with the "I'll determine what's best for me, thank you" of her dad. How could you not love this little rebel? I always thought that her assertiveness would serve her well, and that very soon she was cooking with me using a sharp knife at age 5. She was only 6 when her musical tendencies, coming from her uncle, her grandfather, paternal grandmother, and father, started to appear, and she recorded her first song with me in Portuguese on guitar in our kitchen. Recently, she's been rehearsing with my band, which she has to lead and inspire a bunch of 50-year-old Zen-minded Jewish professionals to play a series of contemporary girl pop songs that they've never heard of. It's a good thing we all have daughters. This has tested and taught her to find comfort and understanding in an environment very different than what she's used to. Which brings me to where she is today and what I want to share. Come here. Just to start, I'm so grateful and proud of who my children are becoming. Their struggle with what all people their age struggle with, yet unlike so many other teenagers, they firmly realize that risks, decisions, and mistakes are necessary ingredients to becoming someone greater, someone larger. They also know that they can't gain confidence and happiness without some reflection on where their decisions are taking them, and whether the outcome of those decisions fit into the kind of life they want and the eventual consequences they are going to have to live with. Big concepts for most adults, even bigger for them. Yet they are doing it at age 13 and 16. Like anyone at age 13, at any time in the history of mankind, Camila is getting tested. Tested by peers, adults, situations, new environments, people, choices, commitments, and most importantly, by herself. She's evaluating what belongs in her life and what does not. She's determining how to make decisions that help her become the person she herself respects and admires. And while she may not know it, she is absolutely crushing it. That's not to say it's been easy, but that it's been worth it. And to watch her try to figure it out, then pick herself up, dust herself off, and start all over again, reminds me of how resilient she proves herself to be. And here she is today. If we were to be honest, not necessarily having enjoyed every single aspect of Jewish education experience, but having worked, committed, and now completed the same passage that many of us took to know something about ourselves, where we've come from, and how we've been connected by some common beliefs and principles that leave ourselves and our society able to function in peace. She deserves all the respect and admiration that comes with that. My sweetheart, Biki Boo, I love you. Stay decisive. Trust your own sense. I'm proud of you, and I love you so much. I love you too. I love you so much.
Thank you both. Probably not going to be anywhere near the love and remarks from both of your parents, but I do want to share with you the luckiness that we feel here at the synagogue to be able to share this wonderful and incredible moment with you and with your entire family, both here in the sanctuary and anyone who's watching on the live stream. We feel so blessed to have you as part of our Jewish community here at CBI. How we've got to spend time with both you and Danilo and through his time becoming bar mitzvah and his time in our youth group. We hope that there's a lot more ahead for all of the beautiful connections that we get to connect throughout our time together. Cantor Muchnick and I, we talked about this at the end of your rehearsal. We decided that with the ability, your chanting ability, we are already looking forward to other times you'll be chanting Torah and Haftarah for us in the future, for everyone to hear, including, like we mentioned, perhaps at the high holidays, maybe a little Torah or Haftarah chanting or Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. So you connected so beautifully to your context of the Torah portion, connecting the Arbat Minim, the four species, right? The lulav, the etrog, the myrtle, and the willow. And then you explain so beautifully that each of them maybe connects to some part of our body that then connects to something that we should do, right? There's the idea that the palm is the spine; it keeps us upright, keeps us strong, right? The idea of the myrtle are our eyes, so they keep us aware of our surroundings. The willow symbolizes our mouths, so that we should be respectful and thoughtful of the things that we say. And of course, the etrog, like you said so beautifully, this idea that looks like our heart and connects to our heart. What I want to mention to you is, now that you are a bat mitzvah, and if you think of how you shake the lulav, none of those pieces are separate. It isn't like you take the myrtle and you shake it. It's not like you take the willow and shake it. You don't hold the etrog in your hand and shake it all around. Everything goes together. It's bound together. That large lulav even comes with a special holder with two sides for you to put the myrtle and the willow into the two sides surrounding the spine, if you will, of the palm. And then you add the etrog. And that's the heart. You put those together, and then you put them really close to your chest, and we wave them in all different directions. And it's the coming together that's perhaps the most beautiful part, is that none of this is separate. It's not just only worry about what your heart says, only have a strong spine and do good things. Don't only look out for the things around you. Don't only speak. You have to do all of it. We're not allowed just to be like, you know what? I checked off that I speak nicely. But what about how my heart feels when I speak? What about what my eyes make me think when I look at someone or look at something? All of that has to be put together. And now, as a bat mitzvah, you got to do that. Everything now gets bound together. All of our actions, all of our words, all of our connections, all of our relationships, how we interact with God, with Torah, with our family, with our congregation. None of it is separate. We don't get to be like, oh, I just did this part, and that's fine. I did this part, that's fine. It's all collective. That's what the lulav and the etrog, that's what Sukkot teaches us. That we're not allowed to just pick and choose. That everything is bound together in our community and how we care for each other. And so I hope, like I said, this is the beginning of many, 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 many other opportunities for us to be celebrating with your whole family. That we are not just bringing individual pieces together. It's not how a community works, right? A community works when each of us contributes our own piece, and then collectively we're bound together as a congregation, as a holy place. And so we are hoping to be sharing in that holiness with you and with all of you for a very, 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 very long time, way beyond Sukkot, even though Sukkot is Man Simchatenu, but many, 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 many years to come. And if it is okay with you, Cantor Muchnick and myself would like to share with you some words, some really ancient words, but a beautiful blessing called Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly blessing, comes from our Torah. And we hope that it is, you probably heard it at your baby naming. That's my guess. You're going to hear it now in a moment at the bat mitzvah. God willing, no time soon. At the wedding, you'll be hearing it too, and so on and so forth at these incredible life moments these precious life moments, you'll be hearing these beautiful words of the priestly blessing as we share that with you right now.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's presence be with you and shine upon you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseim lecha. Shalom.
May God's presence be with you all the days of your life and bring you peace and love as together we all say, Amen. We are going to begin to conclude our service now with Aleinu and Kaddish. Aleinu can be found on page 586 in the brackets for you, 586, and together we stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We continue now with thinking of those in our community who are either in the period of Shiva, the immediate 7-day mourning period, or Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period, and our yortzites that occur for us on the Shabbat prior to us reciting Mourner's Kaddish. In the period of Shiva, we think of Shana Brodsky, and in the period of Shloshim, we think of Selma Stein, and our yortzites that occur for us this week. Marilyn Amberg, Ellis Aronson, Evelyn Berger, Stephen Geffen, Rhea Goodwin, Stanley Harris, Hannah Holtzman, Brian Nofsky, Sam Kozak, Dina Levine, Theodore Levine, Anita Lipson, Fam Poehler, Claire Rappaport, Gertrude Reiter, Howard Riegelhaupt, Clarence Rosenberg, Gerald Schaefer, Harry Silvers, Robert Singer, Harry Spivak, Hilda Throp, Mitchell Thorpe, Ronald Tresser, Helen Troy, Bernard Weissman, Scott Zimmerman. To those names, read any name that you would like to add at this time. Kadisha Torah Mourner's Kaddish 598 in the brackets. Itgadal v'ikadash merabah, ba'alma divrach cherutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chay l'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yesh merabah mevorach le'olam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kodesha b'richu, Leila min kol bilchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran b'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ועל כל ישראל ואמרו Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel as together we say
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Before we go, Camila, we have some stuff for you before we go. So we'll look underneath there. Look right underneath there. There should be see there's a book and a present. See that? There's a book right there. Yep, that's yours. You just take that out. Good. There's a present right there. Take that out. Good. And then there's your certificate which you signed right there. Take that out. There's another gift. See that? Yeah. All that is yours. Let's open some stuff up. Let's see what we got. What'd you get? Can't wait to see it. Let's see what you got. You're starting with that one? All right, good call. The smaller one? Good. I would always start with the smaller one too. Maybe it's gold. What is that? Yeah, well, no, not yet. Ooh, what'd you get? Ooh, a candlestick set. Yes, so you can use that now for Shabbatot and for different holidays. That's so nice. I made them myself. I didn't. It's a gift from our sisterhood, from the congregation. That is for you. You're welcome. I'm not on the sisterhood, but thank you. Ooh, what's that? What's that? Ooh, celebration of rock and roll Jewish heritage. Ooh, that's awesome. So that sounds awesome. That book is, by the way, from the Brotherhood for you. Nice. What else did you get?
Is it silver plated?
The book? It's very heavy. Yes, it's a silver-plated book. You're gonna have help to carry it out. What else did you get? You got a book. What's that book called? The Torah. Good one. That's a good one for you to have because it's good for you to have the Torah. Look at the inside cover of the front. What does it say?
It's a bestseller.
What does it say? Keep going. Yes, that's us. We gave you the Torah. Yes, that's so good. And we also gave you your bat mitzvah certificate, right? Which you signed, which Kendra Muchnick signed, and I signed. And because Kendra Muchnick signed it, it's going to be worth a lot of money one day. Because Kendra Muchnick signed it. He's very famous, so it's going to be worth millions of dollars one day. So those are our gifts to you. Because you shared all of your gifts and time and your voice and your study and your beautiful family for us to all share. Those are just a little bit of gifts for you from all of us. We are going to conclude our service this morning with Cantor Much. What are we going to end with?
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam. That's a lovely choice. Adon Olam. Let me tell you what page it's on in the large book.
625.
625 in the large book. Thank you very much. 625 is where we're going to conclude.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Torah Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hove Ve'hu Yeh B'tifara Ve'hu Yeh B'tifara Ve'hu Echad Ve'en Sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit V'lo ha'oz v'hamisra V'lo ha'oz v'hamisra V'hu Eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur chevli V'yitzara v'hu nisi U'mahanos li Menat kosi b'yom mekra Menat kosi b'yom mekra B'yahado Afkid ruchi ve'tishan ve'aira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira Adonai li velo ira
Adonai v'arach damo v'shalom. May God give strength unto our people. Continue to bless us with hope and strength and love and peace. Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everybody.
shalom.
Chag sameach and mazel tov.